All right, so for the last two sections, we've been taking rational expressions and we've been simplifying them, right? Reducing if we can, and then yesterday we even took them and we multiplied them and we divided them. All right, so today we're going to do sums and differences, which is actually a little bit of a different process, right? So if you remember back to pre-algebra, if you had 25 over 42 and you wanted to add 11 over 18 and then subtract 2 over 1, could you just from left to right add these and subtract these? No. What did you have to have?
The denominator.
Yes, you had to have all the same denominator. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to get the least common denominator for all three of these in order to combine them all. You guys see that really well? Okay, is that better? All right, so what you do is you get the prime factorization of each of the denominators. So if we take 42 and we do a little factor tree on it, we're going to have 2 and 21, and then 21 factors to 3 and 7. And then if you take 18, that factors to 2 and 9, which is 3 and 3. And then denominator of 1, we're not going to need to get the prime factorization of that one, right? So for the least common denominator, you need to take all the numbers that appear at least once. So we have a 2, it appears here, so we only need to write it once. Then we have a 3, and it appears here. Then we have another 3 from over here, and then we have a 7. So if you multiply all of these together with your calculator, you should get 126. Oops, sorry. All right, so that's the least common denominator, which means I need to rewrite all three of these with the denominator of 126. Okay, so to get what the numerator is going to be, we take 126 divided by 42 should be 3. 3 times 25 is 75. Okay, so you're going to realize that these are what we call equivalent fractions. Okay, then you take 126 divided by 18, multiply it by 11, I got 77. And then 1 goes into 126 126 times, so 126 times 2, I got 252. Did you get 2? I got 252. Okay. All right. Now that you have all the same denominator, now you can combine from left to right. So you're going to go 75 plus 77 minus 252. I did it on my calculator. I got negative 100, and then the denominator stays the same. And then I just thought, oh, I can reduce that. These are both divisible by 2. So I got negative 50 over 63. Okay? Always check to see if you can reduce. Okay? All right. So if they were all nice and easy little numbers, we would all be happy, right? But this is algebra 2. So let's throw in some algebra, right? Any questions on example number 1? Okay. So example number 2, obviously going to have some algebra in it. So we're going to start with 3 over x squared plus x minus 6 minus 2 over x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay. So if we have the same denominator, we could just add or subtract whatever the sign told us to do from left to right. But the denominator is not the same. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to factor those denominators. So first you do all the steps we did from last chapter. You look for a GCF. You see if there's a nice pattern. You see if it's an easy one, or you see if you need to do the slip and slide on it. These both look easily factorable, right? Okay, so the first one, the square root of x squared is going to be x and x. And then what two numbers are going to multiply to get -6, but add or subtract to get +1? Yes, I got +3 minus 2. Sound about right? Okay. Now let's factor the denominator of the second one. Looks easily factorable. Square root of x squared is x and x. What two numbers are going to multiply to get +2, but add or subtract to get -3? -2 minus 1. Okay? So to get the least common denominator, we need to take all of the factors that are in each of them. Notice they both already have the x minus 2. So we definitely need the x minus 2. And then they also each need an x plus 3 and an x minus 1. Throwing that minus sign there. Okay. Now for each of them, whatever was missing from up here, so on this first one, it's the x minus 1, we're going to have to multiply the numerator by that as well. So we're going to have to say 3 times the x minus 1. And which of these three factors was missing from here? The x plus 3. So what do we have? We had a 2 in the numerator, so we're going to have to multiply 2 times the x plus 3. Okay? This is our least common denominator, right? Now that we have the same denominators, we can combine. So we're going to have the x minus 2, the x plus 3, the x minus 1, and in the numerator, what do we need to do? We need to combine, but first we need to distribute. Everybody see the distributing that needs to happen? So I need to distribute here and here. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -1 is -3. And then I've got this -2 that needs to distribute here and here. So -2 times x is minus 2x. And -2 times 3 is -6. Now we can combine like terms. So we have a 3x minus 2x, so just 1x. -3 minus 6 more. We end up with x minus 9. And just rewrite that denominator. Every once in a while, that numerator will be able to cancel with one of the denominators, but it doesn't look like it does in this one. Okay? Finish copying that down.